Viewer discretion advised. Today's video contains sensitive content, including graphic details and footage. If you find such topics distressing, you may want to skip this video. Your well-being is important, so please take care while watching. The Rotenburg Cannibal Unveiling Armin Meiwes. In December 2003, the trial of Armin Meiwes sent shockwaves throughout Europe and around the world. Armin Meiwes, the 42-year-old computer technician who was accused of brutally killing and eating another man, that apparently been a very willing volunteer. Let us investigate and find out what motivates someone to kill and find out how they can get away with it.
I'm a computer engineer from Rotenburg, Germany. I killed a man, slaughtered him, and ate him.
In a small village outside of Rotenburg, Germany called Wustfeld. Armin Meiwes is a German former computer repair technician who gained international notoriety for a gruesome and shocking crime committed in 2001. Let's delve into the chilling details. Outside of Rotenburg, Germany, is a village called Wustfeld, and on December 1st, 1961, Armin Meiwes was born. His childhood seemed relatively normal. His father was a policeman who saved up his money to buy a mansion for the family, Armin's mother, Waltraud, and two half-brothers. Behind closed doors, Waltraud was an extremely manipulative, possessive, and jealous wife. The only reason she had gotten pregnant with Armin was to prevent his father from leaving. She was constantly accusing him of cheating, and the couple often fought. Some arguments even escalated to her threatening to kill him if he ever left. His father was rather distant and stern. While not documented to be abusive or cruel, he was rather disinterested in his son. In 1969, when Armin was just 8 years old, his father left and his older brothers followed soon after. Armin described feeling very lonesome after that. In an interview with Armin, he said his childhood before his father left was rather normal and happy. He would ride horses and build tree houses with his brothers. A neighbor said that his mother had no lack of love for him and always dreamed of a home full of children and grandchildren. Most other reports say that his mother was not affectionate, treating her son more as a servant than anything. Armin loved to read. He would escape his loneliness through books and his imagination. Through these stories, he got his first exposure to cannibalism through works like Hansel and Gretel. When he turned 12, he began to cultivate a strange affinity for imaginary friends and fantasies around cannibalism. Among them was an imaginary sibling named Frankie. In the secret recesses of his mind, he indulged in vivid fantasies of devouring them, driven by an unspoken desire to bind them to his side forever. His home, a fortress of isolation, echoed with their silent presence, compensating for the lack of human interaction. Even when he left the house, his mother insisted on accompanying him even as he aged into adulthood. While his peers were out enjoying parties and clubs during their teen years, Armin stayed away, preferring his own company. Despite having crushes like any teenager, his ultimate goal was consuming, not dating. When he tried introducing girls to his mother, they never met her standards for the perfect daughter-in-law. At 19, he joined the army in 1980. Stationed near home, he continued to live with his mother, finding comfort and normalcy in military life structure. While enlisted, questions arose about his sexuality, though he maintained a facade of having a fiancée out of town. Despite this, he found solace in sailing with fellow soldiers, always armed with a camera to capture the freedom of the sea. However, his time in the army was marred by heavy drinking, leading to his discharge after 12 years from drunk driving incidents. Following his mother's passing in September 1999, he grieved normally, finding solace in the support of neighbors. Inheriting the family estate, he began working as a computer technician, but remained fairly isolated, occasionally visiting a local brothel, the Blue Moon, where he often found himself passing out at the bar. During his time in the army and while his mother was still alive, his cannibalistic fantasies remained suppressed. However, following his discharge and his mother's passing, those childhood fantasies resurfaced. Turning to internet pornography, he delved into more extreme fetishes, stumbling upon a website known as the Cannibal Cafe. There, he encountered ads from individuals expressing desires to be consumed, some with specific requests like being barbecued like a chicken and other similar desires. Armin posted an online advertisement using the name of his imaginary friend Frankie, seeking a willing volunteer young man, a well-built 18 to 25-year-old, to be slaughtered and then consumed. He received many replies, but most only wanted to role-play. Armin did not attempt to force them to do anything against their will. Armin later said that he would never kill without consent. The person had to be willing to die. He did receive one serious response from a man named Bernd Jurgen Brandes. The 43-year-old engineer from Berlin answered the advertisement in March 2001. Brandes was a 43-year-old bisexual male from Berlin. He had a long-term relationship with a woman named Bettina, but she ended the relationship when she discovered his interest in men. Secretly, Brandes had a desire to be eaten alive. He was also obsessed with sexual mutilation. At age 40, he became obsessed with working out to maintain a nice physique even as he aged. His co-workers said he was a nice, fun guy to work with. However, toward the end, his personality slowly turned more negative as time passed. He also started doing more outlandish things such as parachuting. They exchanged messages back and forth for a month, talking about the best ways to kill, consume, and dispose of the body. They also agreed that the whole thing would be filmed. Armin had again been very clear that the victim had to consent to being killed for him. The killing was just in necessity and not part of the fantasy. Once Bernd settled on a plan with Armin, he sold all of his belongings and wiped his hard drive. He bought a one-way train ticket to Rotenburg, and Armin picked him up at the train station. They stopped at a pharmacy for painkillers and sleeping pills. When they arrived at Armin's home, as per their agreement, the two made a videotape when they met on March 9, 2001. Brandes stood in the living room and removed all of his clothes, saying that Armin could take a look at his dinner. The entire evening was videotaped. During their exchange, Brandes expressed some very specific desires. One of them entailed him wanting Armin to bite off his private part while he remained conscious. The second aspect of his request involved both of them consuming the severed organ together. To numb the pain, he consumed sleeping pills along with alcohol, but despite his efforts, Armin couldn't accomplish the task without resorting to a knife eventually. Brandes mentioned feeling only a brief moment of pain, which left him unsatisfied since he wished for a more intense sensation. His ultimate aspiration was to be consumed alive, enduring excruciating pain that would ultimately lead to his demise. Armin proceeded to divide the peens, blanch it, season it, and lightly fry it. However, their anticipation was met with disappointment as the flesh turned out to be tough and inedible.
Ich dann wieder hoch. Er sagte mir, es ist ihm kalt, ob ich in mein Bad einlassen könne. Eigentlich unverständlich, aber er war glücklich da, wie er in seinem eigenen Blute saß.
At that moment, Brandes was losing blood profusely. Armin guided him to the bathroom, where he placed him in a warm bath to alleviate the cold. Despite Brandes's attempts to rise from the bath, he eventually lost consciousness. Armin then transported him to a bed in the slaughter room, keeping a vigilant watch as Brandes slipped in and out of consciousness. During the wait, Armin immersed himself in a Star Trek book. After approximately 3 hours of witnessing Brandes' slow demise, Armin resorted to a knife, severing Brandes' throat. After Brandes' demise, Armin Meiwes hung the lifeless body from a meat hook. He meticulously divided the body into halves, washed them, and stored the meat in freezer bags concealed beneath a false bottom of the freezer. The bones found their resting place in the garden. When Armin indulged in this macabre feast, he set the table with his finest heirloom china, lit candles, and served the main course alongside princess potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and a glass of fine red wine. Before consuming all of his first victim's meat, Armin went back to the Cannibal Cafe. This time, he aimed to lend credibility to his posts, hoping to attract a willing victim. Armin openly discussed his experience in killing and butchering human bodies. However, one user sensed something different from the usual roleplay-style posts on the site and alerted the police. On December 10, 2002, authorities raided Armin's property. They discovered unmarked bags of meat hidden in the freezer's false bottom. When questioned, Armin claimed it was wild pork. However, a policewoman disagreed, stating that it bore no resemblance to pork.
We received different pieces from the house. They were doing excavations on the property. They found parts of a skeleton, the head, for example, the disembodied hands and disembodied feet. Well, that was one part. Then there were 35 bags of frozen meat. We unpacked the bags. We put everything on the table and tried to figure out if it was a complete body. Was something missing or not?
So you built it like a skeleton, but how much did you have? How much was missing?
Only soft tissue was missing, which Meiwes had eaten. The whole skeleton was there, so we could definitely say that we had one single person in front of us.
So how much of Brandes' body had Meiwes consumed?
Meiwes said about 1/3. Brandes weighed about 90 kilograms.
At the time of his arrest, he had already eaten 44 pounds, 20 kilograms of the flesh. At his pre-trial hearing, Armin stated, "I always had the fantasy and, in the end, I fulfilled it." He has never denied what he did, but he hasn't shown traditional remorse. He knows what he did is considered wrong, and he has apologized. But to him, it did not feel wrong. To Meiwes, the most intimate act conceivable is to consume another person. After ingesting Brandes, Armin claims that he acquired skills and proficiencies without conscious effort or awareness. Brandes, on the other hand, was exceptionally articulate in English, while Armin had previously struggled with the language. Since then, Armin has spoken English remarkably well. He also asserts that Brandes is always with him. The case presented several legal dilemmas. Firstly, cannibalism itself is not illegal in Germany. Instead, Armin was charged with murder for sexual gratification and disturbing the peace of the dead. The second dilemma arose when the defense argued that Brandes had given full consent, backed by video evidence. They contended that it should not be considered murder, but rather killing on demand, also known as euthanasia, a stance that the court did not accept. During the trial, the entire video of that night was played for the jury. All jury members required extensive therapy and mental health care afterward. The first trial resulted in a manslaughter conviction in 2004, carrying an 8.5-year sentence. In 2006, prosecutors appealed for a retrial, questioning whether Brandes had the legal right to consent to his death. During this second trial, one of Armin's psychologists testified that he still harbored cannibalistic fantasies and, if released, would likely re-offend. This trial ended in a murder conviction, carrying a life sentence. Since being incarcerated, Armin Meiwes has assisted authorities in analyzing a cold case involving 2 brutal mutilations with a suspected cannibalistic angle, one in 1998 and another in 2000. Both murders are believed to be the work of the same offender. While in prison, it is also said that Armin Meiwes has converted to vegetarianism. As we close the chapter on the haunting tale of Armin Meiwes, we're left with a stark reminder of the depths to which human behavior can descend. His case serves as a chilling testament to the complexities of morality, law, and the human psyche. Let us not forget the tragic loss of Bernd Jurgen Brandes and the profound impact his death has had on those who knew him and on society as a whole. May his memory endure as a cautionary tale, urging us to confront and understand the darkest corners of our humanity, so that we may strive for a future where such horrors are but a distant memory.
Today, I know that what I did was wrong. That this can never be the right way. The wishes, the fantasies you have, that these can never ever be fulfilled. And everything that you dream about will only ever remain a dream. What I did, even after I've done it, I always thought it could be more than just a dream. Today, I know that it can never be.
We dedicate significant time and effort to research and produce content like this, delving into challenging topics to provide insight and understanding. If you found this video informative or thought-provoking, we invite you to like, share, and subscribe to support our work. Additionally, if you have any subjects you'd like us to explore in future videos, please let us know in the comments below. Your feedback is invaluable as we continue to create content that resonates with our audience.
Das Haus des Kannibalen von Rotenburg steht in Flammen. Brandstiftung oder Unfall? Und was macht Armin Meiwes heute? Wann wird er aus dem Gefängnis entlassen? Und warum fasziniert dieser Fall so sehr, dass Menschen sein Haus immer wieder aufsuchen? Häufig auch nachts. Immer wieder entstehen dort kleine Brände. In der Nacht vom 16. auf den 17. April ist das Elternhaus von Armin Meiwes dann endgültig abgebrannt. Ein nach Brandstiftung oder nicht, die umliegenden Anwohner wären froh, wenn der Brand dazu führen würde, dass keine Schaulustigen mehr